What is, simply is. It doesn't have parts. No description can touch it. There's nothing apart from it that can find it. There's no place that it does not exist. And it does not exist in some place. It doesn't include individuals. It doesn't include anything distinct or discrete. It's not an it. What I'm pointing to here is not a way of being. It's not even bound to the distinction between being and non-being. So it's not a thing to realize. It's not a stage of realization. It doesn't have a description. It doesn't have a label. Nothing sticks to this. It is also not bound by the description ineffable, meaning it's also right in front of your eyes. It's the sensations. It's the sounds and the flow of experience. It's all of it. It's the apparent relationships. This is what is. Simple, obvious, not complicated in any way, not technical, not conceptual. Just this. Hearing that, it could be inferred that there's nothing to do when you feel like a doer. That there's nothing to investigate when you feel like a self or a contracted entity or someone who makes choices. It could be concluded that because this is already just how it is, I should do nothing and hope everything just clicks into place. Well, if you can do that, give it a shot. But I think a lot of people try to not try and sort of wait for something, not realizing they're waiting, not realizing they're still bound into a paradigm of doership, struggle, etc. So let me offer a different perspective, and that is that everything I pointed to in the beginning of this video is what you could call the absolute or absolute nature. That doesn't really feel right to call it that or anything, but for purposes of this conversation, it can be helpful to use that designation. There's also the relative. The relative is just how you take yourself to be right now. Whatever impressions you have, whatever beliefs you have, whatever feels real to you, whether it feels solid, partially solid, or non-solid, whether you feel like you make choices, sometimes make choices, or never make choices. Whatever's happening for you in full authenticity, that's the relative. It's the conventional, and it's perfectly okay. So then how to put these together? Well, to the world of thought, the world of concept, you really can't put them together. It doesn't make sense. You have to choose one side. You either have to believe in the absolute non-position, non-doership, no self, or you have to believe that there is a self seeking that state that has doership, that has agency. That's the paradigm of thought. It's either this or that. What I find beautiful is that thought is reflective in nature. And what does a reflection do? It turns everything upside down or turns it around 180 degrees. Because what is being reflected has no problem being absolute and relative simultaneously. It has no problem being no one and someone simultaneously. This is what Dogen described as practice enlightenment. One phrase. Meaning, as you practice, enlightenment is not somewhere else. It's not achievable because it is already the case. And yet, from the point of view of the practitioner, they do still feel like they're on a timeline. And from their point of view, that can't be wrong because nothing is wrong. There's only what's real. And what's real is everything. So from that perspective, there's work to do, work to be done. Sitting, inquiry, surrender, often emotion work. So you could say from the standpoint of living truth, which is where relative meets absolute and perfectly accommodates both, the only real description is paradox. Because as I described, the mind will say it's either relative or it's absolute. But that's a reflection. What is being reflected is the opposite of it's one or the other. And one way of saying what the opposite of one or the other is to say it's seamlessly both as one expressing. Bothness doesn't even make sense here. Distinction doesn't make sense. So you could call this paradox. This is why I wrote an entire chapter in the book on paradox, because paradox, if anything, is the quality of enlightenment. Enlightenment has no qualities. Liberation has no qualities. No self has no qualities. But if it did, the closest thing is probably paradox.